I used to know what a bad day was. A missed deadline, a moment of self doubt, an awkward conversation. I thought I understood what it all meant to struggle. Then a novel showed me I knew nothing at all. The novel was A Thousand Splendid Suns. Its characters, Marima and Layla, aren't real, but their story revealed a reality so intense it completely rewired how I see my own life. This isn't about one book, nope. It's about how stories forged in war and oppression can reach out and fundamentally change you. They hold up a mirror, not to make you feel guilty, but to give you a shocking and sometimes uncomfortable new clarity and truth. My name is Zach, and I want to welcome you all to the Literary Tailor, where we have great books and even better conversations. This is a story of two women from war-torn country reshaped my idea of resilience and my understanding of gratitude. When we think of Afghanistan, what do we think about? I know we think of a huge desert, but we also think of negative things about Afghanistan, such as war and oppression. However, there's some beauty as well involved in Afghanistan and its people. This is an idea of what I thought about when I picked up A Thousand Splendid Suns to get a better understanding of that beauty that Afghanistan truly holds, even with war and oppression hanging over it. With Afghanistan, the news in America often shapes it as a horrible war zone. And this is a view that a lot of Americans have. So when I think of Afghanistan, I do think of tanks and bombings, but I also think about of the locals and the other beautiful things, the other beautiful aspects. So that's another reason why I chose A Thousand Splendid Suns to read as well. Miriam and Lilia are the two centerpieces of this story. They are two women that are thrust into the negative and the beauty of Afghanistan. Mostly the negative, at least for Miriam and Layla. Because for Miriam and Layla, what mirrors them compared to the real world is this: they are oppressed women in a male dominated society and government, whether it be inside or outside of their house. What they represent, what they mirror or reflect, is the idea of oppression, no matter what, if it's Afghanistan or another country or another group. Oppression still remains as an existent thing that still continues on to this day. And Miriam and Layla show this through A Thousand Splendid Suns. When we first meet Miriam in A Thousand Splendid Suns, we first know and realize that she wasn't given a real opportunity at her life at an early age. She was definitely a black sheep, being the bastard of of the family. Her mother and father weren't married, and they had her out of wedlock, if you would say. So she was sort of almost held as a secret among the community, as her father worked at and owned a movie theater and lived with his wives and other children, while Miriam lived with her mother and was kept as a secret. She wasn't given an education. She had very little friends. All she had really was her mother. And through Miriam, she gains this understanding of being shamed for who she was, who she is, as being not the child that her father wanted. So this shame sort of defined her throughout the whole story until that shame started to fade away and we start to see how resilient and how to see the true Miriam is really is throughout the story. Now, when we first meet Layla, she's a lot different than Miriam, definitely a polar opposite. For Layla, she was given a opportunity of education. her family wasn't as broken. Her parents were still married, even though there was confusion if they even loved each other. And she also had friends, especially one of her guy friends, if you would say, that she always hung out with. So Layla was definitely the polar opposite of Miriam. However, for Layla, the war around her would soon come barging at the door, literally. And this is where she is forced to change her whole world, almost change her identity, to live alongside Miriam as they are both married to uh, the same guy who would be both of their husbands. From the start, Miriam and Leela don't exactly get along, obviously, in this really strange living conditions, being the two wives of one man. Marima thinks Layla was stealing her husband from her, as Rashid, the husband, often insulted Marina to favor Leela to the point where it became annoying, almost like he was pitting the two women against each other to try to see who was the better wife, if you will, for him. So this created a sort of a wedge. Well, it definitely created a huge wedge between the two women. However, the reason why Leela was even in this situation was because what was growing inside her belly. It was because of this that the both women start to form a bond almost. And as Alayla gives birth to this beautiful child, Marima starts to develop this maternal figure towards both the Layla and the child. And this is what finally bonds the two women together in the stuffed environment, as they would often sit outside with chai tea and just talk, and finally let their guards down and actually are given the opportunity to be themselves around each other in a harsh environment. As I finished this book, I was able to simply reflect on it, close the book, if you will, as I finally realized that my life wasn't as difficult as I thought was. This story of these two women gave me a whole new perspective. As an American male living in the United States, I never took the opportunity to actually put myself into the shoes of oppressed people, especially the women in Afghanistan. So seeing this sort of firsthand almost from these two women gave me like how privileged my life truly was. It truly is compared to being oppressed, being told what to do, and just living in an authoritative figure having being a shadow over you, no matter how where you are or whatever you're doing. And I met a lot more freedom compared to these women. So after reading this book, I was able to reflect that my freedom should isn't something I should take for granted, because in another life I could have been one of these women or someone else living in this oppression state. I know my life wasn't has its ups and downs, a lot of downs, definitely with my problem with alcohol and stuff like that. But I think even then, my problems with alcohol doesn't pair, doesn't set with what these women had to go through, being oppressed in their struggles just to survive, just through another day. Because their bond is what really made this story even better to understand. And it made me look at I need my people around me to actually build a bond so I can make it through another day of a struggle, a simple struggle that I'm having. What these two women did was open my eyes to that even a bad day for me is nothing compared to what a real bad day can really be to a lot of people who have to live through the situation. What makes these women really interesting and inspiring is that their comfort for every day, their each step every day, isn't just for comfort, but for basic survival. From every step they had to take, from every moment, every action, they had to be aware of their surroundings and their actions in order to survive the next day, especially being in a home of uh, definitely a ruler with an iron fist, if you can say, and on the outside, the same thing, except could be a lot worse, considering the Taliban had taken over Afghanistan at this time. So for these two women, and a lot of women overall, had to just find ways just to be living, just to live comfort, but also just for basic survival of themselves and their families. Compared to Miriam and Layla, my everyday privileges are very a lot better than theirs. I'm able to walk outside. I'm able to pursue a job I want, or I'm able to get a job. Period. I'm able to pursue an education I want. I'm able to do anything because my freedom allows it. Unlike theirs, where their freedom was very oppressed, and if there was freedom, it was very little, if any. Even today, where a day might be considered boring, where which involves either watching TV, watching football, going on social media, those those days, just those boring days, if you will, are an incredible gift because I'm able to do them. I'm free to do them, unlike what these two women had to go through. And still, for the women that still had to go through these things currently in Afghanistan. So I treat every day as an incredible gift to be able to live my life as I choose to. And this is a great gift I always cherish. One of the key pillars of this story, one of the key themes, is this idea or this theme of resilience. Both Miriam and Layla share this idea of resilience in different ways. Miriam's a lot more quiet about it, where Layla's is a lot more loud and boasts more about it. What this requires in terms of resilience is this: to be able to continue fighting even when you think all hope is lost, even when everyone stops listening, even when the dark starts to fade in and cover up all the light. There's still that remaining light that still shines through. And for Miriam and Layla, that's that. Through their struggles, they continue to be that light, whether it be with themselves or without each other. They continue each other's support no matter how hard it was on the inside or out. For resilience, it's just that fight and to never surrender, no matter how hard it truly is to be. For Miriam and Layla, they shared this also this bond as well as a shared sacred secret, almost a secret sisterhood. As this secret that Layla has to hold on, something that Miriam can relate to, is a do or die secret. Because if she was caught, something bad could happen. And one of the only person she even told us to was Miriam. And from this was a do or die moment for Layla, either to trust this woman or not. For Miriam could use this against her and use this against Layla to be in a better position with their husband. But Miriam chose to remain silent and to remain this sister, or she forms this maternal figure, if you will. And this bond is what makes this relationship so strong in the end, as this relationship is what allows them to survive in the end. Both of these women are heroes in my mind, in my eyes, as I think about this story, as their small actions are what made them this hero, what a hero should be, especially for Miriam. She could have uh, continued this rivalry till Layla either left or was, but she didn't. Miriam continued to show this side of her, this resilient, another time I'll say this, of this heroic idea that she continues to showcase through her actions, and her actions to remain silent, and her actions to even say take the bullet or take the action, take the frontal abuse of the husband for Layla, even though she knew that this abuse would have a huge physical impact on her, but she continued to greet that abuse as a hero should. As humans, we are meant to be a group or among a group. We're not supposed to be lone wolves, where unfortunately always found myself to be. But this story showed me that having a bond, at least with one person, is what truly matters. And I'm lucky to have a bond like that, whether it be my mom or other family members. This bond is truly what makes this such a impactful feeling in life, to be able to have that trust, to have that idea of helping, truly helping, even if the help doesn't require you to receive anything. And you'll happily be happy to help these people that you form this bond with, that mirrors Miriam and Layla's. Another key pillar I like to talk about on this channel, besides courage, is hope. And Miriam and Layla definitely embody this idea of hope, no matter how hard it could be at times. For both of these women, for each of these women, hope is more than just a word. It's that life jacket. It's that thing you desperately need to hold on to, no matter how hard the situation is, whether it be because of the inside of the house or outside, where the war is. They continue to hold this hope, no matter how hard or how enslaved they are, if you will. And this idea of hope needs to resonate a lot more, definitely for me, where I need to continue holding out hope even when I feel everything is lost, when everything is dark. Hope is still there, no matter how dim it might be. There's always a little bit of light of that hope shining through, even in dark times. For Miriam, she continues to demonstrate this resilience, this hope, even if the hope doesn't actually revolve around her or her hope. She decides to risk her own life, her own well being, for Layla and her daughter and her son. Miriam holds this almost like a bodyguard, or almost like a shield for Layla to use, or uh, unwillingly use, if you will. For Miriam, she's willing to take all the hits and anything thrown at her in order to protect the one person or the persons that she truly loves. And this is Layla and her children. And what does Miriam represents through this is love, true love. Obviously, this love isn't a romantic, but more of a maternal and daughter-like love, and this bond that they continue to share. And it's through this love that Miriam's actions are very heroic, as she puts herself in harm's way in order to protect her loved ones. Leela is given a second chance at a life she always wants, with a person that she truly loved, and the opportunity to live her out of her life with her children. She is able to do this because of Miriam's sacrifice. And through the end of this book, Leela dedicates the rest of her life to honor her friend and honor that sacrifice. And I think this is a huge thing that for me to take away, is to honor whatever a person might have sacrificed for me, especially my mom, who sacrificed a lot of things for me. And the best way for me to repay it is to honor that sacrifice every day. And I truly do. I know today in 2025, our quiet, ordinary life might become dull, boring, or just kind of really lackluster. But when after reading this book, I start to sacred it these days a lot more, because I'm able to reflect. I'm able to read this book. I'm able to read a lot of books that might be forbidden or not told, but I'm able to because of my freedom to do so. It's because of this ordinary life that becomes sacred in the end, if you will. One of the reasons why I truly love this book, because how painful it really felt reading. A lot of these books by the same author often depict painful situations, whether it be character arcs or a plot that just breaks your heart. I think these stories are very important because they don't pull back anything and just reveal the truth that might happen in our society, even if it's a fantasy piece or a scientific piece or just a regular novel. These stories that depict painful moments are truly the moments that resonate with you after you stop reading it and you learn from the lessons or learn from what the book teaches us. Stories like A Thousand Splendid Suns is a true masterpiece, a true story I think everyone should read because this story helps me to reflect and look around in my life and able to, when I think of worries, my only worries probably just a very few compared to what these women's worries were. So I'm able to sit back and reflect and notice that these worries that I have can easily be solved or can hold less stress compared to the worries that some of these women, whether it be Marima or Leela, or the women that continue to be oppressed, and their worries that are way bigger than my own. And it's through these characters, Marima, Leela, that do demonstrate what truly matters. And one of those is love and friendship. Having those two is a is what helps create quite a big bond that can't be penetrated and can't be broken. It's through these friendship and this love that can be the only thing that stays strong even when everything is lost. Another thing I felt myself after reading A Thousand Splendid Sun was this idea, this feeling of empathy for these women. And I think this is a great takeaway for me internally to gain even more empathy. When I look at my real life, or just my daily life, and I'm able to use my empathy as a power to understand a people, no matter if they come from a different background or culture or anything, just completely different from me. I'm able to empathize with them, and that's a superpower I think I want to trade for anything. Miriam and Leila's story becomes a permanent lens for how I see my own life from now on. It's a powerful reminder that resilience isn't about avoiding suffering, but about finding the meaning in the connecting of it, the connection of inside of it, should I say. Their story, born from war, taught me about the profound peace of a quiet life. Their story, born from oppression, taught me about an immense value of freedom. This experience made me wonder about stories that I have shaped other people, the books, the movies, or accounts that left a permanent mark. They're more than just entertainment, they're tools for living a deeper, more examined life. So, I want to ask you all, what story has changed the way you see your own life? Share in the comments below. I would genuinely love to hear about stories and narratives that have reshaped your own world. If you like this video, please give it a like and share. I'm Zach, and this is a Literary Tailor, where we have great books and even better conversations. Until then, guys, happy reading.